Awайте omnes, welcome to this video lesson on Fabulae Faciles, section 29, the sixth labor of Hercules, the Stymphalian birds. Post paucos dies, after a few days, Hercules ad oppidum Stymphalium iter fecit. Hercules made a journey to the town of Stymphalus. Now, so Stymphallus, there's a lake there, and here he's going to basically rid it of the birds. Let's see what it says. Imperaverat enim e Eurystheus, for Eurystheus had ordered him. Notice imperaverat, pluperfect. And now we get an indirect command clause with a subjunctive verb. Ut ave Stymphalides necaret, that he should kill the Stymphalian birds. Now these are the birds that lived around Lake Stymphalus. Hai aves, these birds, rostra aenea means bronze, so hai aves rostra aenea habebant. These birds had bronze beaks. Et carne hominum vescebantur, and they fed on the flesh of people. So they ate people food. The people, well, not people food, but food of people. Food made of people. All right. Now, I should note here, vescore is one of the so-called puff V verbs. These are 5 deponent ablative verbs. That is, verbs that are deponent and take an ablative case object. So carne here is the ablative object of the verb, and they ate the flesh of humans, you could say, right? The other verbs, puff V verbs, there's potior, which takes ablative or genitive. There's utor, to use. Potior, by the way, means to take control of or be in possession of. Utor, to use or enjoy. Fruor, to enjoy. Fungor, to perform. And then, of course, vescor here, to eat. All right, continuing. Ille postquam ad locum pervenit. He, after he came to the place, lacum vidit, saw the lake. In hoc autem lacu, moreover, in this lake, qui non proculerat ab oppido, which was not far off from the town, aves habitabant, the birds lived. Nulla tamen dabatur apropinquandi facultas, nevertheless, no opportunity, nulla facultas, of approaching, apropinquandi, that's a genitive of the gerund. Notice the nd marking gerund and the long I genitive singular neuter ending. So no opportunity of approaching, nevertheless, was given, was granted, dabatur. Lacus enim, for the lake, non ex aqua, sed elimo constitit. The lake consisted not of water, but of mud. So sometimes the lake is called a swamp in some of the versions of this story. Hercules igitur, therefore Hercules, neque pedibus neque lintre progredi potuit, was able to advance, to progress, progredi, neither on feet, neque pedibus, nor in a boat, neque lintre. So linter, this word, if you're not familiar with it, it refers to a small boat, a skiff. You might imagine a little rowboat or something like that. Ille cum magnam partem diei frustra cum subsisit. He, when he had consumed the great part of the day, a large part of the day, in vain, frustra, hoc canatu distitit, desisted from this effort. Okay, so canatu there, that's the ablative case of canatus. That verbal noun comes from the same root as the verb conor, conare, to try. Et ad vulcanum se contulit, and he literally took himself to Vulcan. He went to Vulcan. Ut auxilium ab eo peteret, in order that he might seek help from him. So that is a purpose clause beginning with ut, and notice peteret is an imperfect subjunctive verb. Purpose clauses, just like indirect command clauses, which we saw up above, the ut through nekaret in the second line of this story, they will start with ut or with ne if they are negative commands or negative purpose clauses, and you have subjunctive verbs. All right, so he took himself to Vulcan in order that he might seek help from him. Purpose clause tells why he did it, the purpose for. Okay, Vulcanus, qui ab fabris maxime collebatur. Vulcan, who was worshipped especially by craftsmen, fabris. Crepundia quae ipse ex aere fabricatus erat, Hercules dedit. He gave a rattle, crepundia, which he himself had fabricated, had built from bronze, to Hercules. Now, in some versions, there are actually several versions of this. Sometimes Hercules gets this from Vulcan, as in this version. In other times, he gets it from Athena, she helps him in a lot of the myths. And in at least one version, Hercules makes the rattle himself. He's, by means of this, and notice he's is an ablative plural because crepundia, if you'll look at that, that has a neuter plural ending. The word for rattle here is a neuter plural word. All right, so by means of this, meaning the rattle, Hercules tam acrim crepitum fecit. Hercules made so sharp a rattling noise. Tam acrim crepitum. Ut aves per teritae avularent. That the frightened birds, aves per teritae, flew away. Avularent. Now this ut clause here is a result clause. It's what we sometimes call an adverbial result clause. Those will often come after signpost words like ita, seek, tom, tote. So tom is a signpost word telling us that we've got a result clause coming. Just like the other clauses we talked about, the indirect command and the purpose, these usually begin with ut. You don't have ne for a negative result, you just have ut and you'll put a noun or something later in the clause. So again, result clause. And just like the other clauses we talked about, notice we have a subjunctive verb, avularent, imperfect subjunctive. All right, ille autem, he, however, dum avulant, while they were flying away, magnum numerum earum sagittis transfixit. He transfixed or pierced a great number of them, magnum numerum earum, with his arrows. Sagittis, ablative of means. All right, so that's what he did. Either he made a rattle himself, or he got a rattle from, say, Vulcan in this version, or sometimes from Athena. And when he scared them away, right, birds get scared with loud noises sometimes, then he took to shooting them with his bow. And he's an awesome shot, plus he's got the poison, so he killed a whole bunch of them. They never came back after this. Labor 6 down. Okay, I hope you learned a few things here. Oh, I just noticed one thing I forgot to mention about consumsisset is a pluperfect subjunctive there. I didn't mention that earlier. Okay, so I hope you learned a few things here, whether it be about vocab or about grammar or the story.